Australia's most trusted news.
The world is in shock.
Act of terrorism.
I am sorry.
It isn't truth. Truth isn't truth.
You've always been there with us. And we're always there with you when and where you want it.
Now to some breaking news.
Stay with us.
Know the real story anytime with ABC News Online.
Today, a teenager accused of stabbing two men at the Church of Scientology in Sydney's north, charged with murder.
Residents near a bushfire at Rosedale in Victoria's Gippsland urged to leave.
Not backing down, US President refuses to compromise on funding for his border wall.
This is national security we're talking about. We're not talking about games. We're talking about national security.
And Australia faces a grim outlook when they resume batting in the fourth test against India, who lead by almost 600 runs.
Good morning. It's Saturday, the 5th of January. I'm Andrew Gagan.
And I'm Amy Greenbank. You're watching Weekend Breakfast. Coming up, there's been some wild weather throughout the country, ranging from cyclones to heat waves. We'll find out why shortly.
That's right. We'll hear from the Bureau of Meteorology. Also expecting an update on some fires that are affecting some communities in Victoria too. Obviously not helped by those extreme weather conditions, certainly as far as the heat is concerned. Also, the music festival season is in full force, attracting thousands of people to various events across the country, but they have been marred by a series of fatal drug overdoses. We'll hear from drug research expert Paul Dillon about the merits of drug testing and the risks a little later this hour. First though, let's check the weather around the nation. Partly cloudy in Brisbane, showers or two in Sydney, showers and a likely storm in Canberra. Melbourne, also a shower or two expected. Hobart will be partly cloudy, a mostly clear day in Adelaide. Perth will be sunny, and for Darwin, a shower or two and a storm likely.
A 16-year-old boy has been charged with murder after stabbing a man at the Church of Scientology in Sydney. He was arrested after allegedly stabbing two men, killing one and injuring the other at the driveway of the organisation's headquarters in Chatswood on Thursday. He has since been charged with murder and common assault and will appear at the Children's Court later today.
Authorities in Victoria are urging people near a bushfire in Gippsland to leave the area. The fire at Rosedale has been downgraded from an emergency warning to a watch and act, with alerts issued for the areas of Fulham, Kilmany, Kilmany South, Longford, Nambrook, Pearsondale, Sale and Warwick. The fire is located about 6 kilometres south of Rosedale and has burned through more than 550 hectares. An evacuation centre has been established at the Sale Baptist Church.
US congressional leaders have returned to the White House for further talks with President Trump to try and solve a deadlock that has forced the partial shutdown of the US government. The Democrats, who now control the House of Representatives, have passed measures designed to end the standoff. But Mr. Trump says he will veto the plans unless they include $5 billion to build a wall on the Mexican border. Senate Leader Mitch McConnell says he will not bring a vote on any plan that comes without the president's approval.
Any viable compromise will need to carry the endorsement of the President before it receives a vote in either House of Congress. Under these conditions, Mr. President, the package presented by the House's new Democratic leaders yesterday can only be seen as a time-wasting act of political posturing. So I would urge our Democratic colleagues to approach our meeting today with a willingness to join the administration and the men and women of Customs and Border Protection in working to protect our border and bring this partial shutdown to an end.
In Thailand, a man has been killed after Tropical Storm Pabuk made landfall in the south of the country. He was among the crew of a fishing boat that capsized in rough seas caused by the storm. Another crew member is missing. Weather officials say damaging winds and torrential downpours have caused widespread damage in 15 provinces of southern Thailand. Thousands of tourists have fled popular tourist spots of Koh Samui, Koh Tao and Koh Phangan.
Britain's Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt has warned Russia not to use individual citizens in diplomatic games. He was speaking after Paul Whelan, a former US Marine who has joined US and British citizenship, was charged with spying while in Russia. Mr Hunt says the UK government is extremely concerned about his welfare and is offering consular assistance.
But our position is very, very clear, which is a very straightforward point that individuals should not be used as pawns of diplomatic leverage, and we need to see what these charges are against him, understand whether there is a case or not. We are giving every support that we can, but we don't agree with individuals being used in diplomatic chess games, because it is desperately worrying for not just the individual but their families.
Data and documents belonging to hundreds of German politicians and journalists have been hacked and posted online via Twitter. The leak affects all parties in Parliament, except the populist right-wing Alternative for Germany party. The data reportedly includes personal information such as mobile phone numbers, addresses, internal party communications, and in some cases bills and credit card details. There was no immediate information on who was responsible or on the source or sources of the data and whether they were all authentic.
China's Chang'e 4 probe's rover has now successfully separated from its lunar lander. That's according to the country's state broadcaster. The separation took place around 10 o'clock last night Beijing time, after which the lander's camera sent back images of the probe. The spacecraft made this first ever landing on the far side of the moon on Friday. The far side is the one that faces away from Earth and it's relatively unexplored.
Newly published guidance from British paediatricians says there is no firm evidence to support the idea that spending time on computer screens and smartphones is harmful to children's health. The guidance says the popular view that time in front of a screen is toxic to health has essentially no evidence to support it, and that the reported rise in mental health problems among young people was apparent before the rise of social media and digital technologies. The guidance says parents with healthy, active children should not worry greatly about computer and smartphone use, although it recommends no screens for an hour before bedtime.
And Japanese Buddhists have creatively hit back on social media after a monk was fined for driving in his robe. Monks then started posting videos of themselves juggling, skateboarding and skipping, among plenty of other activities, wearing their traditional clothing and using the hashtag I can do it in a monk's robe.
Well, they've got to get on with life. What's the problem?
Absolutely. And to be fined as well. Apparently, the police thought he wouldn't be able to drive safely because of all the fabric down there.
Well,
around his feet.
I thought that's a bit bizarre. Don't know about the lightsaber though. Is there, what's
bit of a stretch?
Well,
yeah.
Although it looks authentic, doesn't it? Because it's something you'd see out of Star Wars.
Yeah.
All right, time for sport. Will joins us. What do you think in your robe?
Well, I wouldn't be driving with a lightsaber, that's for sure. I can see how that would be considered dangerous, driving with a lightsaber in the passenger seat or just in the holster. But
well, if it was on.
Yeah, that's right.
Very dangerous.
Yeah, fraught with danger. Also fraught with danger, Australia's chances in the fourth test have a massive task ahead of them to save that one at the SCG against India.
So, the penny. Toss the coin to start the cricket game. Riley tossed the coin, and Riley, he has no problems driving because, as far as robes getting in the way goes, because Riley likes to drive with no clothes on. And that's Riley. Jake and Nathan know Riley. He's a bad boy. And he's a Western boy. So Riley, he likes fast cars, he likes computer games too. He likes shoot-'em-up games. Shoot-'em-up computer games, and fast car games, and he's probably going to head down to Perth. That's my guess. I know he's a Western boy, but I'd say he's going to head down to Perth and cause havoc, because Riley wants to cause some havoc.